Booming, booming. Fort Worth, Broward County, Broward, right? Boom. That's how you say it. I'm pretty sure I said it correctly. Sounds correct, right? Sacramento, Dallas, where we try the chat is going and going mad, right? We got Houston, Miami, Australia, Washington, right? So I like it. I can say mass. I can say it. I can say it. I just don't want to say it for you guys right now. I don't want to say it for you guys right now. But listen, look, I'm gonna be going over something real quick on the charts to begin with today, right? Ideally, gonna be kind of going over just what I'm gonna be anticipating for the start of the week on gold, right? So ideally, for those that were on Friday's call, you guys are up to date with just the position um that you know I didn't really drop it for the gang because Friday's my day off. I'm not gonna hold you guys. I be sleeping, right? I don't run the call. I couldn't drop the signal. You want to know why? Because 10 seconds after I took the trade, I rolled back over. I put my phone on the floor, family, and I was in the stars, right? I was catching some Z's. It was early morning, but with that, just seeing how bullish we were to close the week, what I really anticipate to begin Sunday, right? To really begin this week in a perfect world, right? Just really looking at the 15-minute time frame, seeing this get filled would be like perfect. Or sorry, on the 30-minute, right? We have an imbalance that we left here just before we really engulfed just this previous structure that we created in London session, leading into, like I said, just this big rally to the upside. We can see that gold really flew about 250 points just from New York session to day's end, which is a lot of points. It's a lot of points, right? So just being able to see how volatile that move was, the reason why this imbalance to me kind of makes sense is because if we really look at the start of that last drive down, right? So typically, when you guys look at institutional areas, institutional candles, we're looking at that last down candle. Um, and one thing to note is it's not necessarily just the last down candle. What you really have to be aware of is where was the start of the last drive down. So the start versus the finish are two different places because we can see up here. I'll get rid of this for a sec. That would be considered the top, right? Down here would be considered the bottom of our institutional area, right? The reason why is because this is really that last series of consecutive down candles that either A, captured liquidity, mitigated, filled imbalance, or all of the above. Okay. So typically that's what you want to see happen. And then immediately after, you want to see what took place, right? This quick rally. And it wasn't so quick until we engulfed this previous structure, right? All of this price action. But you can see that we gave multiple opportunities. So this imbalance lines up with, in my opinion, this institutional area. So if we break down this 15-minute area, right, even more, kind of taking a look at just even potential targets, right? We can see that it looks like we have a little bit of liquidity in here. Get rid of that. So we have some liquidity here, as well as it looks like we really just left a lot of liquidity right here at the end of the day. So being patient, what you can ideally potentially see is us, like to me, I really think we're gonna get it down here and we're gonna fill this either tonight or probably like leading into like Monday, like New York session. So which will basically be tomorrow morning. So really what I'm anticipating is just some of this liquidity to get swept in terms of the 15-minute, right? Just hitting out all these late buyers, people that got in way too late in the structure, right? I would essentially just be either looking for a smaller time frame accumulation in here, or if we just, like I said, impulsively drop, I would just be looking for a quick fill And ideally, stop wise, it would be, to me, I would have like my stop below like this area. So kind of looking for some along the lines of like not even necessarily there. I would say below this low. So ideally just taking partials right at this high. Why just at this high? Because we have liquidity there. To me, I really feel like we're going to continue to punch deeper into the 1900s before we get a reversal. But leading into the ending of the month, one thing to be just mindful of is, yes, with seasonality, we're bullish, but in January, if you guys just even going back to us the last couple of years, like January typically will have a little bit of a retracement and it'll just be quick and impulsive, right? And we won't really be like, to me, from about the end of January to like mid-March, it's going to be really just a roller coaster because, of course, we're bullish overall, but I really think that there's going to be room for just downside movement because March is typically where we reset and we kind of come back to wherever we were trading into in December. So if we even just go to the 4 hour, right, and we go to the beginning of December was literally right here. I feel like I was going over this on a call the other day. So to me, by March, we could easily get all the way back down into the 1700 range, if not even lower, like in my eyes, right? But that would be a March play, right? But March plays, essentially what you're looking for is just the bottoms, right? So it's not that we're necessarily looking for long-term sells, but I'm just saying be aware that there will be sell opportunities. So when you're taking profits, this is why I just recommend taking profit above like immediate highs, right? Because if we're really bullish, what we're going to see is another higher high get created above this area. So to me, if we got to 1921 and kind of capped out, to me, the next solid area I would say would be about like 1925. I would look for about 1925 or 1928, right? To see a potential reaction, to see us potentially move back to the downside. But ideally, if we just kind of open up and we start to fall back down, we could really just fill like this imbalance right here and then continue higher. For me, what I'm going to be waiting for, like I'd have to wait for a couple candle closes before I would get into position up here. To me, I feel like this 15-minute IPA is just clean. And even to see potentially deeper into this institutional area, like I really wouldn't be surprised. So for gold, personally, what I would anticipate off the beginning of the open to start the week, either a little bit of consolidation, or I would just anticipate us to start breaking down to potentially just hit out late buyers to then allow us to continue price upward. So that's really what I'm looking for right now in terms of gold. I just wanted to go through a quick overview in terms of that. But for the most part, it's not going to be anything more than just scaling in. Like I said, we're just going to be at the end of the day, if you're patient, you're going to be able to allow candle closes to give you more clear confirmation instead of just guessing. Like I feel like where I used to lose a lot of money was trying to get in right away. And have you guys ever noticed that there's always one wick that will kind of give you an opportunity, right? And then there's another wick that will give you either an even better opportunity with less risk, or it'll come back past that first entry. So it's like we have to stop putting ourselves in scenarios and situations where we don't protect capital. And I feel it's almost redundant with a lot of people in their trading journey because we continue to make the same mistakes because we just hope one day that maybe we'll get a different result. Hopefully one day the poor habits and the poor patterns that we put into the market are just going to now get us a beneficial result. But no, the effort and the result that you're getting out of the market is dictative on the plan that you have. Like, do you have a trading plan? Do you follow it? Do you follow risk management? Do you, because I showed you guys, how many of you guys were on the Friday's call? Drop a 777 if you guys were on Friday's call when I was really sitting there and running you guys through numbers, right? I was showing you guys, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. There's a difference between somebody sitting here and telling you you should trade with a 1 to 5, a 1 to 10 versus somebody showing you a FX book live linked with a real account, right? So this is why I like to just be transparent, because a lot of these people, like I said, this is gonna touch on something I'm gonna touch on a little bit later. But um, for now, what I'm gonna go ahead and do, like I said, I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this markup for anybody that's in on the call. You guys could go ahead and do whatever you want with it. I think that was the wrong link. Nope. Right link. But with that being said, family, right? What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna bring up, like I said, I have a very special guest on here today, and what he's gonna be going through is a little bit of charts too. We're not just gonna be going through charts the whole time. We're gonna get that out of the way right now for the impatient people and the people who think that just going over the charts is gonna make them money. They're gonna leave the call after, right? And then we're gonna go through some psychology and mindset. And the people that stay for that, those are gonna be the people that really take a lot away. Um, I don't know. I'm here. I'm here, fam. I'm going out to dinner after this, so it doesn't really matter, fam. Right. So, I would say, you could do a little 15, 20, and then we could kind of go mindset. We could kind of do what we talked about, spit our few points, right? But in terms of that, this individual, right, is somebody who's not only been somebody who has been a part of my journey since the beginning, right? He's somebody who never really directly benefited my business, but he was always a sideline. Like, he was someone that was a cross leg of mine. But to be able to just witness what we were able to do just within the first year being in the industry, right? This individual hit Platinum 5,000, became a paid educator, right? And ended up getting his own channel as well, right? All within the span of like 2 years, right? He was teaching on the platform within his first year, but this is someone that I personally watched go from working at Amazon, right? He used to you guys remember those, like, you ever seen those commercials or those Instagram videos where people throw the packages at the doors? That was him, right? That was him at Amazon. He'll say no, but I remember watching with him on Zoom doing that, right? But that's been an inside joke since 2019. I've been telling people that since 2019, right? But in terms of that, he's definitely someone who's very hardworking, right? I believe in this industry, you got to be able to listen to people that have the things that you want. For anybody that is a parent, for anybody that has children, understand this is somebody who's able to spend all his time with his child, right? He's able to sit there and not just like survive and barely get by, but it's thriving. It's like the conversations that we have about just investments. It's just like, it's crazy just to see what level we're able to be at now versus where we started. And it's just, I'm so proud of you, my brother Silva. But go ahead and I'm gonna add the pin. Actually, I don't know. I'm gonna just make it so you can share your screen, cuz whenever you're ready. Oh, I think I gotta. Yep.
There you go. I was about to say I can't talk.
There you go, brother.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? TTP family. How's everybody doing? Y'all feeling blessed? Start of the week, Sunday, fun day. Hey, let's go. Appreciate you, Cash, for bringing me on this call, and always much love, man. It's crazy to see where we were, 4 years ago. We're getting into the fourth year now. I've been a part of IM Academy from February 26th of 2019. And, it's just crazy to see the growth. I still remember even Fads in London convention. I think it was like P2K at the time. And seeing where he's at now, chairman, and just doing so many things. It's been a lot of growth within a lot of us within the community. So, I'm grateful to be here. But yeah, let's get into the fun stuff. So I'm gonna see how I can kind of fit all this stuff in, because honestly, I have a few things I had prepared for y'all on this call. Hopefully the Academy brings me back my channel so y'all can view me there. But that's like a whole nother topic of discussion. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive in So, you know, the main thing that I personally use to trade, I use a lot of Wyckoff. If you guys don't know who that is, it's Richard D. Wyckoff, right? Wyckoff, whatever you want to call him. And this particular article right here, I'm going to go ahead and actually drop it in the chat. I would recommend y'all to save this link, go and read through it. But, you know, like Cash said, you know, I do focus on intraday stuff, but like he was talking about seasonality, you know, macro movements, that's where we really prosper in the trading environment, right? You know, risking 1% of our accounts to be able to do backflips, 15, 20%, with these massive movements. That's what I like focusing on. Even bigger risk rewards than that as well. And how I've been able to really capitalize on that stuff has been able to learn the concepts that this individual teaches. So, you know, I'm going to go back to this article, but I want y'all to, you know, save this article, read it a million times. And I mean that literally, because I still read and study it till this day. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into things. Me and Cash are really in alignment with gold as well. I want to see upside. And like he said, you know, we are preparing for that next, you know, in my eyes, the bearish move. If y'all were with us in the academy and following along with our thoughts here in the trade house, we've been bullish from September, early October, and we were looking for buys like down here. Once we got that weekly support level at 1675 taken out. So, you know, we have that seasonal movement in effect right now. So like Cash said, you know, my eyes are in the same place, so I'm not going to bother, you know, reiterating what he said for the buy side. Now, I do feel that sell momentum is going to start kicking in moving into February, March. Now, these are some few zones that I'm looking at currently. Weekly wise, you know, we have this entire weekly imbalance where we're in right now. I honestly feel we're going to either punch a bit higher going into 1975 or maybe higher, but we'll see. But, you know, I feel that this steam that we've had for all this bullishness is going to start easing off, like he was mentioning. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Really not much bias change or anything there. But yeah, the main thing that I like using in my analysis is dollar index, right? For the ones that don't use DXY, I would really recommend y'all to look at it. Dollar index is what's weighed with all of these pairs, assets, currencies, anything, right? If you look at, you know, USD Chef or USD CAD, USD JPY, Euro USD, GBP USD, the commonality that you have with everything is USD. Same with NASDAQ, with the indice market, same thing with gold, same thing with Bitcoin, right? Crypto, it all revolves around the dollar, right? So if you're able to understand what the dollar's movement is going to do, you can essentially position yourself in all these other assets, right? Not saying, oh, the second the dollar flips, get in every single trade and hit the buy button. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know, the main thing that we really need to focus on is the dollar, right? The US dollar index is what really moves everything. So, you know, for the ones that have been kind of following along with these thoughts, I don't know, you know, some of y'all might be new to me or new to the Trade House's education, but if you're not, you guys might have known that we've been, you know, shorting dollar from this monthly area here for a little bit. And, you know, it's really using this with fundamentals that allows you to get these massive positions, right? So, you know, some of the stuff that we were preemptively looking at back in September and October was these 4-hour areas. I know you guys are familiar with breaks of structure and stuff like that, because, you know, Cash does teach that stuff as well with y'all. And the other thing I like adding with that is fundamentals. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys dates, and I want y'all to go back test this in the market as well, right? October 13th of 2022, there was a particular news event that happened this day, right there. We had November 4th right here. And then we had November 10th. Okay. So these key news events was CPI as well as NFP. Okay. So when we're talking about the dollar index, we got to understand that there's key news events that happen to move and manipulate the market. So from this movement alone, you guys can see how CPI shifted the market lower. We got a nice break. Then as the market came back going into Friday, the 4th of November, we had our shift for NFP, and then we had CPI here, right? If we actually take this information to current times, y'all can see that, right here, right, Friday the 6th, right, for January, we had our NFP. And then, as y'all can see, we kind of had, our CPI data continue to shift price lower. So seeing where dollar's at right now, I'm really curious to see, how this retracement is going to go about. Are we going to do a small bounce to continue lower? Because I really don't feel that the dollar is going to do too much movement up until February 1st. And if you guys go look at our economic calendar on Forex Factory, you guys can see that February 1st is our rate statements, right, for the US dollar. That's our main news that we have next, right? So if I just kind of scroll through here and show y'all, here we are, right? February 1st, we have FOMC rates. So I really don't think the dollar's direction is going to change much up until then. I feel that either we're going to consolidate in this area, or the market's going to reattempt to do some retracements, right? Prior to us continuing to go lower. Really with how we've been seeing how the market's been moving recently, we do have the market open that just happened right now. I'm really curious to see if this week we're going to see movement higher, right, to come and attack this liquidity, or if we're going to continue this downwards momentum that we're getting at the moment, right? And using that analysis, you could obviously look at multiple different assets. So USD Chef is one thing that I love trading personally. And this is the area that I was calling off sells for our CPI. We got a nice movement there. And then Friday, this was another zone that I was looking at for sells, right? So now the question is this week, if we leave behind this liquidity that we're generating right now, I would like to see if UChef gives us a move back up, possibly, filling in some of this imbalance and continuing to go lower, right? If you guys pay attention to the higher time frame on USD Chef on a 4-hour, y'all can see we have a lot of liquidity here on the downside that we could be targeting. And I would like to see that area get met, right? So that's some like seasonal stuff that I'm looking at the moment, really continuing with that dollar bearish bias for now. I don't feel that we're going to get bullishness on dollar until February, just because we have that news event. And it's possible maybe we continue bearish in February as well. I feel that the current momentum that we have in the markets is going to continue going into the end of Q1 to the beginning of Q2, right? That's what we generally have seen on a seasonal basis. So, until the market shifts that factor, I don't think we're going to really get any bullish signs here on the dollar just yet, like massive bullish signs. Right. So that's honestly the main thing that I'm really looking at for UChef and stuff. The only thing that I got on my radar this week is yen rates. Right. I don't know if any of y'all trade the JPY at all. Right. But the only reason why I have JPY on my radar right now is because on Tuesday, right, in 2 days from now, we have the monetary policy for the yen rates. Okay. So the Japanese yen is one of the only few currencies currently right now that has not shifted any of their rates compared to any other currency, right? You guys can see that dollar has been increasing their interest rates. Euro has, pound has, right? Every other currency has literally been increasing their rates, but yen has been staying at a steady negative 0.1 for years now. Like we're talking like 5 years plus. We've been sitting at a negative rate. So what I got to say is there's been talks, there's been rumors that yen can potentially lift these rates, and they're going to potentially start to increase their rates, right? And that's been our rumor, right? So I would recommend y'all to write this down in your notebooks, right? Buy the rumor, sell the hype, right? Because that's essentially what we're doing with the yen, right? So if I go to the yen ticker here, it's 6J1. For the ones that have been kind of following along with our thoughts, we've been bullish on yen ever since down here, right? Wanting to see this first target get met. We got that. And then this week, I honestly wasn't expecting this. I thought we were going to come a bit lower, but we got another movement higher. So considering that we have our yen rates literally this coming week on Tuesday, I would like to see, if we can get some downside retracements potentially going into either Monday or Tuesday. And prior to the yen rates, if we can find some sort of bullishness for yen to continue going higher, right? And this is all overall on the thought from the monthly time frame. We took out a low from 2002, right? Not saying that there's liquidity still resting there or anything like that, but this is fairly significant, right? We've been falling off the face of the earth here for almost 2 years, right? From January or so of 2021 up until now. And now we're starting to see some massive bullishness on the yen here. So, this is starting to indicate on a price action wise that yen's incentive is to go higher. And I would like to see that. For the ones that have been following along with my streams and stuff like that, we've been seeing GBP, JPY sells, right? We've been seeing euro sells, right? And if we kind of follow up on that, right, let me just kind of clear things up here. Right, this was the last area that I personally caught for sells on GJ was back in December 20th. We got a nice 800 pip move on there, almost close to, I think, 1,000 pips if I'm not tripping, something like that. Right, we got a nice movement there. And now that we have yen rates again, I'm curious to see, last week, I honestly wasn't expecting us to sell off like this. Originally the area that I was looking at was this 1 hour candle. Inside here, we had a 30-minute imbalance, and we had all this liquidity kind of just chilling in that zone. But we ended up just doing a distribution here and selling off, which is fine. Right. So now that we got a solid daily close again, right, and kind of going back to what I talked to you guys about with Wyckoff and stuff like that, I do want to see if the market could give us a retracement and we could potentially get some sort of distribution here to continue going lower, right? Overall, I want to look for sells on GBP, JPY until this weekly target of 148 is met, right? We have some very nice weekly liquidity here. So, why am I saying this, right? Well, number one, there's been rumors of rumors of rates going higher on the yen. We've been seeing the yen gain bullishness as well. And now also on top of that, we have rate statements literally next week, right? So this could really add that extra gas to the vehicle to really bring this down and come to that 148 level. So, I don't have an exact zone right now because, the week just opened. We can see currently right now on an hourly time frame, we're bouncing off this area. Friday, we did a little bit of a movement here. So I do want to see just price come back up higher, and any break of structure on a 15 or 30 minute to the downside. So, literally this illustration that I gave you guys, I would look to, look for a solid sell off. So, y'all can stay tapped in. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be live on my Go Live or not tomorrow, due to some situations. If not, you guys can obviously stay posted on my social media and whatnot, and I will post where I'm streaming. And, you know, we can obviously follow up on this prior to Tuesday, but that's kind of my thought that I have at the moment, you know, is to sell GJ, sell EJ, right? And really take all of these down, right? I want to take all of these, you know, currencies much, much lower. You know, EJ's target for us ever since up here when we had our first sells back in December has been 132. So want to see that continued move down there on EJ and GJ as well. Besides that, you know, the only other thing that I have for y'all really is long-term potential plays. You know, one of them is a psychedelics, pharmaceutical psychedelics. So before I kind of dive into this, some of y'all like, wow, this guy's telling me to buy a shroom stock. Well, let me break this down. Okay. So for the ones that are, you know, users of our good old friend, Mary Jane, y'all know the hype, especially if you're Canadian, possibly. I don't know if there's any Canadians in here besides me and Cash, but, you know, y'all remember the hype that was around weed stocks. And, you know, the thing that we've noticed, the thing that I really studied here and noticed was this. This is a weed stock called CGC. And, you know, if y'all can see here, back in 2015 of October, this is when this weed stock was, you know, sitting at about, you know, $1.27, something like that. And we got a massive move higher, right? Like we're talking thousands of percents to your family. You know, this ain't a, you know, 100 pip move or anything like that. Like we're talking thousands of percent. Okay. And this dotted line that I have right here, okay, if we actually go to the exact day, if you really want to, I'm actually going to do that to show y'all how manipulated the market really is. Okay. You know, 16th, 17th, 18th, we're around that area. Okay. So let's do a quick Google, shall we? When was weed legalized in Canada? All right. Weed was legalized in Canada, October 17th of 2018. All right. So for the ones that are really going to be paying attention right now, you know, I want y'all to understand that thing that I told y'all to note down, right? Buy the rumor, sell the hype. Think about how many people probably bought weed stocks because it was going to become legal. And be transparent. Drop a 1 in the chat if you were one of these people. All right. I know I did. I threw a little bit of money back then because my mentality was, yo, you know, weed's becoming legal. These stocks are about to go flying. Right. And I didn't do anything crazy. You know, I put in a little bit of money into stocks back then. But, you know, my like social, I think it was my Scotiabank iTrade account or something. And, you know, I saw this thing literally plummet from then. And I'm happy I only put $100 because if I put more than that, I would have been a very, very salty individual. Right. But, you know, we've saw weed stocks fly prior to the legislation, right? Or the legalization. I don't know what the correct term would be in that sense, but I'm going to say legalization. And then after the legalization happened, right, the market just moved down. Now, why am I showing you all this? Well, if we go to our handy dandy Wyckoff article and we scroll down, right, and we study distribution, okay? There's a particular term that I want y'all to really understand here, okay? And it's this: buying climax. The force of buying reaches a climax with heavy or urgent buying by the public, being filled by professional interests at price near the top. What does that say to you right there? What does that say to you? Drop in the chat for me. What does that mean to y'all? I would appreciate if y'all give me some chat movements here. You know, you guys can talk in the chat as well. What does that mean to you? I'm going to read it again. The force of buying reaches a climax with heavy or urgent buying by the public. Okay, if we don't have, everyone's going to start, Neek, yes, but that is when the public's going to buy, yes. They're inducing the buyers via social media and news. Exactly, right? Exactly. So think about it this way, right? Weed stocks got to about $60 here on CGC. And the day it became legalized, think about how many people bought it. But remember, there's one key thing that y'all need to remember, right? It's this. For there to be buyers, there needs to be sellers on the other side. And for there to be sellers, there needs to be buyers on the other side. So for the institutions to exit out of their position at the top, they need people buying so that they can initiate sell orders and get out of the market. Does that make sense? Drop some ones in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. The institutions need to manipulate people to buy so that they can sell and get out of the market. Okay. That's what a buying climax is. Same thing with ACB, right? Which is another weed stock that y'all can look into and study from. Same thing, you know, around that October time when legalization came out, that's when the peak was, right? So you buy the rumor, the legalization comes out and you get out. If you don't, well, say goodbye to your gains, right? So buy the rumor, sell the hype. Okay. So this is my thought for CYBN. Okay. And shout out to Zach, because Zachary Hogan's the one that put me on this, right? Got to give credit where credit's due. Okay. So same thing here, right? CYBN is literally sitting at opening price around 40 cents. Now, you know, I don't know how high this is going to go or whatever, but my thought is, you know, I actually talked about this on Go Live on December 23rd, and we've already done about 100% on this, right? That was around the 29 cents, 30 cents range. We already got about 100% pop on this. So this is my thought right now. If their intention is to legalize this, and I think it is, because anytime that government makes anything pharmaceutical, their intention is to legalize it into the future. That's what they did with marijuana. This could be a potential long-term play here, right? So, you know, we saw opening price go up to about $3.50, and we literally did like a 90% retracement, 80% retracement. So this is a long-term play that I'm looking at, like a 3-5 year hold, whenever they decide to, you know, really get, you know, shrooms mainstream, right? But that's one play. The other play that I'm looking at is AM7. This is a lithium mining company that is based in South Africa. If y'all don't know what lithium is what they use for batteries, right? And you guys know electronic vehicles are on the verge right now, right? You guys already see Teslas. You know, Tesla's been huge. By 2030, a lot of car manufacturers are actually going to stop making gas vehicles and switch to electric. So once again, same thing, right? Buying the rumor and selling the hype. So the reason why I'm looking at Arcadia Minerals is because this is a stock company that is based in South Africa, specifically Zimbabwe and Namibia. Probably butchered saying both of those, but whatever. And the reason why I'm mentioning this to y'all is because majority of the world's lithium currently right now has only been mined in Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, and Australia. Zimbabwe has over 4.5 million tons of lithium that they found, but not much of it has been mined yet. Only about, I think about 1,000 tons has been mined. So this is another long-term potential play here, right? Some of the other lithium mining stocks that I've seen, PLL Platamount Lithium. This is actually a lithium company that's based in North Carolina here in the US. And y'all can see once they got their operation moving, right, where it was starting to consolidate, right? We had about like $2, whatever. And y'all can see really once, they started to produce and their mine started to get working, we had about a 2,000% gain moved on this. So same thought process, I personally didn't want to, I have a little bit of money in this personally, but I wanted to look for another low cap stock. And, considering that this company is new, they're going to get the mine moving this year. It's only sitting at about 23 cents right now. So really low risk investment in my eyes. So this is something else I'm looking at as well, long-term. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a few more examples, and then Cash, we can dive a little bit into the mindset stuff here. But really, family, think about what happened with Bitcoin and crypto recently. Right? For the ones that know, FTX, that stock exchange, or it's not stock exchange, my bad, crypto exchange collapsed, right? And that all happened in these candles right here, right? Early November is when the collapse came out, all that news came out, right? And why am I showing y'all this? Well, y'all can see here, right? I marked it up for y'all. SC spring test, right? This is the Wyckoff schematic. So if we scroll up and y'all see here, right? This is what an accumulation is, right? You have SC, spring, test, and the market goes higher, right? So what is an SC? Okay. Now the same thing as buying climax. This is the opposite, right? As above, so below. So look at it this way. Selling pressure usually climaxes, and heavy or panic selling by the public is being absorbed by larger professional interests. I'm going to read that again. Selling pressure usually climaxes, and heavy or panic selling by the public is being absorbed by larger professional interests. So think about it. What came out in the news? Right? They came out, FTX collapsed, a massive exchange collapsed. You got a noob like Jim Cramer saying on CNBC, sell all your crypto, right? They were manipulating the public to sell their crypto. And I don't find it funny how right in here, right, going into the beginning of January, end of December, right, we had the dollar, right, the Federal Reserve print money. They literally came out and print $1.7 trillion. Okay. So crazy turn of events, isn't it? They got the public to sell, and then, now the market is booming. So, crypto as well. I personally don't think we're done yet. I want to see us come higher. I feel that we'll either hit like the mid-range 20s, if not get up into the 30s for crypto before we sell off again. I don't think this is the bottom at all. I'm still looking at 10K, 8K, right? I got boxes down here, but this should be a lesson to y'all and show y'all, how they manipulate, right? Don't follow the masses, right? Observe the masses and do the opposite. If they're telling the masses of people to sell, right, in reality, you should be buying. Here's a famous quote by Warren Buffett that you guys should write down. And I literally have it posted on my monitor here. When people are greedy is when you should be fearful. And when people are fearful, that's when you should be greedy, right? So think about it. How many people were fearful back here with crypto and they sold everything? Now we're literally back at where they started all this FTX commotion. Pretty crazy, right? But yeah, I'll go ahead and leave things off there. I could honestly go on for hours. There's a lot of stuff that I can talk to y'all about on this stuff, but Wyckoff and understanding those definitions can really help y'all position into these, short-term plays as well as longer-term plays, right? Y'all got to understand that, the big moves happen from them manipulating liquidity by the public. right? That's how the institutions have to position. Okay. Say it again. When people are greedy, you should be fearful. And when people are fearful, that's when you should be greedy. Right. And honestly, go follow Jim Cramer on Twitter and do the opposite of what he does, or just look at the chart. Look at the chart of what he says, and y'all will see. It's hilarious. It honestly is. Like, go look at his tweets and go back test everything that he said on stocks and different stocks, and y'all will see. When he told everybody to buy Facebook, that's when Facebook took a shit. Like, go look at that tweet. Dead ass. I'm not even capping. Like, he's probably one of the best signal givers out there for doing the opposite. All right. So like, dead ass, go and back test that. But yeah, Cash, we can dive into a little bit of mindset stuff as well. But honestly, that lesson alone should be really powerful for y'all to continue going forward. You know, margin trading is short term, but these investments is what you see your accounts really do backflips in the longer term.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Well, drop some 888s in the chat for the man, the myth. You're cooler than me, fam. Your microphone is like, see, look, I got to hold mine. Now it's held like yours. Oh, see?
I got a little tripod stand on here, yo.
I was about to say I gotta talk down here if I wanna be like that. But 888 in the chat, you know, that definitely was some powerful information. I feel like I was just talking to my squad about that the other day. I was messaging one of the leadership chats we got, and I was telling them that exact same thing, Silva, about how on the news, like, they've called the tops and bottoms to do the opposite. So they told you at the top of Bitcoin, right, to buy it, and they told you at the bottom of Bitcoin to sell it, like literally 3 or 4 times at optimal price points. So I think that's crucial when it comes down to. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna just unmute myself on the mic, but here, let me actually show y'all a picture.
Oh, snap. Sorry, fam. Unmute yourself, fam.
Oh, my bad. So
No,
take this in. Nah, you're good. You're good. So here, look at this screenshot, family. Y'all see this?
Yeah.
Okay, look, this is on CNBC, okay? $2.50 for Ripple. They tell people to buy Ripple at $2.50 on live television, okay? And then at 71 cents, they tell people to sell. If we go to the chart, okay? And this was like back in this jump in 2017. Okay. So 71 cents is right around here, right? So they told everybody to sell their XRP right at this line. Look at what happened after. Okay. And then they tell everybody to buy Ripple at $2.57. Fam, that is literally the high. Okay. One more example. Dogecoin. Okay. Let's go to Doge. All right. So Doge. I know this was a lot of people's favorites, but take this one in. All right. Elon Musk went live this exact hour in price action. Go look at it. Live on SNL, right? Saturday Night Live. And he was talking about Dogecoin and how bullish it is. Taken, that's the high of Doge, the all-time high. That's not a coincidence. They get the masses to buy in, and then they literally just shoot price all the way down. Crazy. Crazy.
The proof is in the pudding, family. You guys got to back test. You got to back test world events as much as, like, the crazy part is I see some people looking at Euro USD. I see some people looking at GBP USD more than they look at just everyday things that they use, like gas prices. Everybody drives, right? You guys don't pay attention to oil. It's like, I remember when we first started trading, our flex was we used to be able to predict the price of Netflix. So we used to be like, you guys are watching Netflix, we're making money off Netflix. What's wrong with you guys? Right. So I really think that and the way that I kind of want to do this, it was kind of like, we could kind of go like back and forth. It would be like a podcast, it would be like a conversation. But basically, I just wanted to start off with like the importance of having a circle of people that are strong traders as well. So what do you feel like coming in, like how did you personally, because obviously like I feel like we were part of the same core group, and I feel like it was really only by the end of the first year, I feel like there was only maybe like 2 or 3 other people that took it as serious as us. It's not to say that anyone else didn't put in time, but there's only a couple people that really took it serious. So what helped you select your accountability group? Because I feel like everyone that we picked in that first year right now that we stuck with, that we still talk to, is making at least 6 figures off of trading. So like, how did you pick your group personally when it came down to your circle and surrounding yourself around people that had the same goals?
Good question, honestly. I honestly truly believed in one of the biggest quotes that Kevin Trudeau says, and it's learning from people who have things that you want. You know, one of the main reasons why I even moved to Texas was to be more around Jordan, to be more around Mike Miles, to be more around Zach, right? And I truly believe that's what it is. You got to be around people that have the same goals as you. If not that, be around people that have the stuff that you want. I look at Jordan Morgan I look up to him a lot because of his lifestyle. He's a gamer like me. He's an individual that likes sitting on his butt and pressing buttons and making money. And I'm like, yo, that's who I want to be. He has a kid. He spends a lot of time with his kid, right? He's able to be self-sufficient in that sense. And, that's why I strive to be like him. Mike Miles, he's a perfect example of sleeping and making money, because that's literally who Mike is. Mike is able to do, the wildest things, right? And he's, man, has a vet, he's like, it's just crazy, right? Just
A
looking at
Corvette,
it.
not an actual vet, guys. He doesn't have animals.
Oh
He has
yeah, Corvette. My bad. My car lingo coming out there, right? I know. My boy Josh in the call knows about that Corvette life. All right, but it's really just being around those individuals, and they're the only people I really talk to as well. A lot of the people that I grew up with in high school and even my family don't really do what I do. To be real, I only have one of my friends that's a part of this business, and he's probably the tallest person of all of IM. But he's like the one person, right? He's the one person that I know that actually is still a part of this with me. Everybody else that I grew up with, right? Everybody else that I've been around doesn't really, mess with this type of info. And I did the best that I could to disconnect myself from that. It might sound harsh, but I cut off a lot of my friends that weren't on the same vibration length as me. Because if you're just holla at me to go to the club and pop bottles, and not talking about money moves, then I'm sorry, we're not on the same wavelength, family. If that's all you're talking about, right? So, I really looked at that as a huge thing, as well as, being around those individuals always.
No, 100. Sorry, I was sitting there. Mike had me rolling. I dropped Harry's height in the chat. This is 7'2", and Michael's face like, damn, 7'2". No, but I like that. I feel like, thinking back to year one, really, of the grind, I felt like we didn't have necessarily the results, but we followed the same people. It's like we didn't have the proximity. Like, we lived in a completely different country. COVID hit. We couldn't really travel. Zach was our mentor that lived in Canada, but then he just ran away to Texas with the rest of our mentors. So we had to figure a lot out through Zoom and through FaceTime. So I don't believe that you guys need in-person proximity in order to get things done. I just think you need better disciplines in when it comes down to your habits, because Silva and I, for example, we used to sit there and we used to stop spending money to go buy food, and we used to go to the grocery store and then cook, right? So we're sitting there and we're splitting money on groceries instead of splitting money at the restaurant type shit, right? We're sitting there, we're working out at home instead of paying for a gym membership. Why? Because it's like you could do push-ups for free. Like what are you guys talking about? You guys don't think people in jail get big body? Like, you guys really have to sit here and stop making excuses for everything. And I really want to emphasize the importance of listening to people who have what you want, because like Silva was saying, like Jordan, like even Vargas, like I personally like seeing Vargas, I feel like he's someone too that just really sits there and will make a bag on trading, but then it's like we'll go out and we'll be having the most fun while we're making a bag trading. So it's just like being able to have the freedom. It's like, look at people that have money, but don't just look at people that have money. Look at people that have money that are happy. Look at people that have money and that are like thriving mentally, that are not involved with just anything outside of their goals and outside of just like what they want in life. Like, you have to think about it. If in this business, understand there's a lot of people that build a business and there's a lot of people that trade. And you have to understand that you're going to have building mentors and you're going to have trading mentors. So it's like, you're going to have both. Because for me, it's like, I had people on the other side of the company that we didn't even have their Zoom links. We used to have to sneak and try and like find their Zoom call links to people that we knew that were on their calls. Like, I know like Alan, like like a lot of your team's calls, like a lot of Fad's team's calls, like we used to sneak on and just be like, okay, boom, we're going to listen. We're going to listen to Jalen today. We're going to listen to this person today. So it's just like, there's certain things where I'm not going to listen to Jordan Morgan or Mike Miles on how to build a business, right? But it's like, I am going to listen to them when it comes down to how to do certain things on the charts, how to do certain things when it comes to managing money, finances, right? And even when it comes down to the business, they still can help with the business, but it's like, that's something that they're not as focused on. So it's like, you want to go to people that have their strengths. Like, not everyone is going to be a full-rounded entrepreneur. Like, not everyone's going to be a chairman type leader that also withdraws 6-7 figures on the charts. Like, not everyone is going to be like that, but that doesn't mean that you can't get to that point. It's just surrounding yourself around people that already have those qualities. But I had a quote, Silva, and or not a quote, but I guess it was a quote I heard. So I wanna tell it to you, and I want to hear what you think about it, right? So the quote goes, right? Circumstances don't make the man, but it simply exposes the man that you are, right? So that was the quote. So what do you think of that quote, hearing it? Because I want to give my perspective on it, but I'm curious. I felt like that was something.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that, bro. Kat just kind of walked in and asked me what's good. So okay, my bad.
What's good, Kat? Circumstances don't make the man, but simply expose the man that you are. So what do you think of that quote, hearing it?
You know, this honestly goes back to one of the other things I really live by as well, is like putting yourself in certain situations is what molds you into a different individual as well. You know, being in a certain situation, like, I'm just trying to think of an example right now, but things don't happen to you, they happen for you. You know, like we can sit down here and feel bad that we blew an account and cry about it, or we can go back and understand why we blew that account, right? What did we do wrong, right? So you can sit there and look at that circumstance and be like, oh shit, you know, I'm a shitty trader, or be like, yo, what did I do wrong so that I could become a better trader? You know, so you know, I really feel that life is meant to be built through experience. You know, like things are going to happen to you, but it's for you to go through that experience so you can evolve and grow, right? Like this can be life lessons too. This doesn't even need to be trading, you know, like I don't want to sound harsh or anything, but like losing a family member as an example, you know, these are things that happen for you, family. Like no matter what happened, you know, it is what it is, but it's the universe essentially giving you that opportunity to grow, right? To figure out a way.
Yep. I think Like Jim Rohn has a quote, right? Don't wish life was easier, wish you were better. And I think that
Wish you were
that's
better.
wish you were better. And that's really what I think. Like that's really what I took away from that quote was life just really shows you how unprepared you really are, because something that you don't like on the surface level, we might not think that we like it. But as we start to dissect and peel back layers, it's like a kiwi, for example. You guys ever bite a kiwi? The outside of the kiwi with all the fur on the outside is dirty, nasty. But it's like if we just peel back the layer to that kiwi, we cut it off, right? Now all of a sudden you have a beautiful fruit. So it's like sometimes we need to peel through layers in order to see what's really beneath the surface. Like sometimes peeling through the layers of trading is peeling through the layers of your own identity, because you don't over leverage because your trading plan doesn't work. You over leverage because maybe you live in a state of lack when it comes to money. So what do you want? More money, right? You turn that lack into greed. And both of those emotions are just low vibrational. Like I've been at the lowest amounts of, like I've been at lows, and it's like I always bounce back, right? I always bounce back. And I feel like I bounce back because when times get tough, I just remember that when things go bad, something good is about to happen right after. Because like I remember there's a time, like literally, like it was like a year ago. It's funny. I'll talk about this because me and someone just joked about this the other week. But I remember at the beginning of 2020, was it last year? It was the beginning of 2022, right? So I had just literally got finessed like racks, right? So I was like, yo, Silver fam. I'm like, I need $1,000, fam. I'm like, I'm gonna give it back to you, but I'm gonna give you back a little bit extra, right? But I'm like, I need 1,000. Silver's like, all right, Silver's rich, right? So Silver just like, here, $1,000. I'm like, all right, lit. So Silver sent me $1,000, right? And I went and invested that into something else, right? And I ended up losing it, right? And it was just like that was a bad scenario because I had the intention, all right, I'm gonna go sit there, I'm gonna flip it, I'm gonna give Silver his money back, I'm gonna get my money back. I'm lit. I told him I'm giving him interest too. So I'm like, I gotta give him the interest, right? And oh man, the NFT that I bought went from like $900 to like $37 in like 2 days. I was like, okay, all right. So I was in another country. I was like, this is not it right now. And I just ended up stop focusing on what I didn't have. And I started to just be grateful for the fact that I still had other resources. I still had a trading account. I still had a funding account. I still had certain things that were available at my disposal. And what I was able to do was attract everything that I needed back. I feel like I was able to hit back Silver literally within like 30 days. I was like, yo, Silver, took a little bit longer than I know. I told you a week, 2 weeks, but yo, I'm back. I'm here. And I gave him a little bit extra, right? And it was just funny because we joked about that because someone sent me the extra back. Someone sent me the extra back because we got into a little bit of disagreement, but it was just it was funny because it's like that's really just like the principle that you need to go and approach life with. It's like you can't expect things for free. Like I understood he was doing me a solid, so to me, I understand what Silver could do with $1,000. So to me, I'm not just gonna give him back $1,000 if he was helping me out. I got to give him back at least what I think he would have been able to make with that same amount of money. Right. So it's like when you go and you ask your mentors for help, sometimes you're not asking them for dollar amounts, but you're asking them for time and you're asking them for energy and you're asking them for an emotional commitment. But it's like, what are you giving to them in return? Complaining, inconsistency, doubts. It's like your mentor gives you the play sometimes, and then you're like, nah, I don't want to do this. I want to go listen to what this person says. It's like that person makes their money through sales. This person makes their money through pressing buttons. If you want to get better at pressing buttons, listen to the person that presses buttons. You want to get better at sales, listen to the person that does sales. It's really as simple as that, right? So with that, it's 6:15. So I don't want to keep going. I feel like it's been a productive call. So drop a 222 if you guys want to see Silva back on here, because I know we could definitely make that happen, in the near future. Right, if you guys want, but we need to get at least 100 on here, right? I know Silva's gonna be going live. You're going live on YouTube, right, tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're gonna drop your YouTube link here so people could go sub up to that, so you could
Yeah,
get
I'm just
get some clout.
YouTube is kind of being iffy with me right now to stream.